Hi, my name's Andrea, and I've been toying with the idea of starting a YouTube channel for quite a long time, actually, and I've had, a lot of ideas of what I wanted to talk about, and I guess it just, I have a lot of things I like to talk about, but it just occurred to me the other day that it would be a great idea to use this channel as a way to create some accountability for myself. And what I mean by that is that at this point in my life, I need to make some changes, and I need to make a big, I need to, first need to make a decision, and I need to make some changes that are going to stick in my life that have to do with health, fitness, weight, diet, and all that kind of stuff. So I made some notes here, which is why I'm looking down. So I thought, why don't I document this on YouTube, and then if there's anyone else that finds this interesting, wants to follow along and maybe get some inspiration from it, hopefully I'll be inspiring. That's my ultimate goal, is to, of course, inspire myself, but also inspire anyone else that maybe kind of looking at the same thing I'm looking at, facing the same thing I'm facing, which is, I'm 52 years old, and I always considered myself healthy and into fitness, but the truth is that I'm really not. And I need to make it a way of life, like a lifestyle. It's not a diet that you do for a little while and then you stop and go back to what you're doing before. It's sustainable changes that don't feel like, that are not difficult. They don't feel like a chore to do. They just feel like the right thing to do, and it's enjoyable. I'm talking about eating and exercise and just, being more active in life. I have a 10-year-old daughter, so which, is great because she keeps me feeling more young out of necessity. But, as I've gotten older, I started to see lately more and more people my age passing away from, heart attacks. I'd say probably mostly heart attacks. Cancer is a big one. Or things, related to that in some way. Or, it all comes back to health, really. The old saying, you are what you eat. It's actually totally true. But not only eat in terms of food, but also toxins in the environment and so forth. So yeah, this is my day one of documenting my journey here. I hate the word journey. I don't know why I use that word. So I made some notes of my current symptoms and or complaints. I'm sure a lot of you, probably mostly women, but maybe some men, if you find this video and you watch it, around my age may identify with some of these. Obviously, the number one thing is weight and, just feeling uncomfortable, not being comfortable in my own skin. It's been a long-term, slow increase of weight. I've never drastically lost or gained weight in a short period of time in my life, other than one time when I was very sick 3 years ago. But generally speaking, I've never been successful at any diet. I remember I did the HCG diet back, 11 years ago. And I think I lost like 17 pounds, but it's just like any diet. As soon as you stop, you just gain it back. So, okay, so that's the number one thing. Being overweight, with being overweight comes a host of other problems, symptoms, aches, pains, and so forth. I would say the number one biggest one for me is inflammation in the body. And for me, the main areas that affects is my neck. I have bulging discs in my neck, and when the inflammation flares up, the pain in my neck flares up, and then I get super stiff neck, what do you call it? Muscle spasms, headache, and it just makes it difficult to do anything. So I'd say that's probably the number one complaint. Other than that, I would say just generally like brain fog, not being able to think as clearly, being forgetful. I guess forgetful is not really the right word. Like words not coming to me when I'm trying to talk, or forgetting a person's name that I should know. I don't really forget things I'm supposed to do or things like that. Or, I might forget why I walked into a room. Or I'll have a thought about something, and then 5 minutes later I'm like, what was that I was thinking about that I want to do? So I know I can improve that. I know it does come with age, but does it have to? I mean, maybe it doesn't have to. So that's number two. Another big one is just low motivation, low energy. I have a long list of things that I need to do, that I want to do. There's just some days where I can't get myself to do it. I'm just slow. I just can't get motivated. And it's frustrating. It's really frustrating because I still have a lot I want to do. Let's see. Other symptoms, thinning hair. I know my hair looks kind of big and fluffy, but it's actually quite thin, especially like right there. You can see it. It's real thin around the front. It's just the curls that make it look bigger and thicker than it actually is. Recently I've noticed it losing a lot of hair when I brush it or in the shower. It goes through phases. I think it's hormonal, but I think diet changes can have a huge effect on that. So, when I was sick 3 years ago, I'll probably leave that for another video, but I was really sick with mold poisoning, and in about a month, I lost like 30 pounds because I just couldn't eat. I couldn't keep anything down, and so much hair fell out. Oh my God. I ended up cutting it off up to here because it was so thin. It just looked awful. So it's improved since then, but then recently I've noticed that it's coming back, or not coming back, I should say. It's falling out, not coming back as fast. Bags under the eyes. My glasses kind of conceal it a little bit, but I've noticed as I've gotten older, the bags seem to get bigger. But I think it has to do with diet and weight. I think I can improve the bags under my eyes. Of course, craving sweets and carbs all the time. I work from home, so the kitchen is like 5 steps away, and I tend to snack rather than just eat 3 meals a day or 2 meals a day. And I know, because I've done this, if you eat a big, good, healthy meal that's got all the right macros, like enough fat, enough protein, without a lot of carbs, you will be satiated, and you won't have those cravings an hour later, 2 hours later. And that's what I don't do. I don't stop to make myself a good lunch that will, satisfy me for the rest of the day, or, till dinner time. I talked a little bit about brain fog. Just like it kind of manifests as not being able to quickly and easily come up with solutions to problems, or maybe if there's a decision I'm faced with, not being able to make a quick decision. I have to mull it over, take longer to think about it. And I remember times where I was feeling much better and quicker, that everything's quicker. Like my thought is quicker. I can solve problems faster. I can come up with ideas and solutions faster. So that's something that I want to change. Anyway, so if anyone's watching this, I'm wondering, I'd love to hear comments from you if you have any of these similar symptoms, and or if you've had them and if you fix them with diet or exercise, then I'd like to know. Okay, so those are my reasons. And I didn't say this, but you know, having a 10-year-old daughter, I want to be around for a lot longer. You know, she has her whole life ahead of her, and she doesn't have any siblings. She's got me and her dad and her grandparents, and I want to be around for her. And you know, it's kind of scary to see people my age dying of a heart attack, and sometimes seemingly more healthy than me, which obviously I don't know all their health issues that they had, but yeah, it's just, it's eye-opening. The thing that just like slaps you in the face and says, it's your wake-up call, you know, it's a wake-up call. And that's what I need right now. Okay, so my plans in life and my plans for this channel. I've been doing a lot of research. I love YouTube. I do a lot of YouTube research, and I don't really trust mainstream healthcare, mainstream doctors. I think a lot of individual doctors are probably in it for the right reasons and they have good intentions, but I think they have bad training, wrong training. And there's a lot of new evidence coming out just from people. You know, I'm not talking about studies. I'm just talking about everyday people trying different and new ways of eating. I don't want to say diet because that word is a little bit, can be jaded, you know. But when I say diet, if I say the word diet, I just mean what you eat, the food that you eat. And so there's a lot of evidence coming out from just people trying these new ways of eating. You know, a huge fad is keto. Now maybe you've started hearing a little bit about carnivore. And, you know, I like to go by my gut. Like if I read about something or I hear about something or a friend is telling me about something, I like to listen to my gut reaction about it. And when it comes to vegan and vegetarian, I do not have a good gut reaction to that. It doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem healthy. I've watched a lot of videos recently of vegans who've turned carnivore, which is crazy. But it's amazing to me how their health turned around. And, you know, when I first heard about carnivore, I was like, what? That is crazy. How can you just eat meat? That doesn't seem healthy at all. And I just, you know, I kind of stashed it away in the back of my mind and thought, okay, that's not something I want to do. I love meat, and believe me, I can sit down and eat a steak and nothing else, but I've always sort of struggled with the idea that I should be eating more vegetables. And, you know, one thing I would say that I have figured out, you know, there's a lot of diets and there's a lot of people that say, okay, this is what you have to do. Those other ones, those were wrong. This is the one that works. This is the one you should do. But there's so many different ones that say that. And I'm like, well, how can that be? So, you know, of course, there's body types. Different bodies do better on different things. People have food sensitivities, food allergies. So there's no one size fits all. But the one thing that I kind of came to realize that a lot of these diets have in common, if you follow them very exactly, very strictly, be it keto, paleo, carnivore, maybe vegan, I'm not sure about that one. or even just the standard American diet. If you just stuck to the strict requirements of that, probably not the standard American diet actually, but the main common denominator, I would say, if you were following it correctly, is that you would not be eating a lot of carbohydrates and you wouldn't be eating a lot of sugar, which is a carbohydrate. So you're gonna get some immediate success from that, because I feel, based on my own research and also my own life, that carbs are the root of all evil when it comes to weight gain and disease in the body and inflammation. So I think that's a common denominator. So you could do paleo, you could do keto, you could do carnivore, or maybe a little hybrid of those. And if you kept the carbs really low and the sugar really low, you're going to see a benefit. You're going to feel better. You're going to get an improvement. I've also heard people that did great on keto for a while and then sort of plateaued, or even maybe started gaining weight back, or just weren't seeing the continued benefits from it. And then when they switched to carnivore, they immediately saw improvement and even more benefits. So maybe changing it up is also good. Anyway, I'm just sort of rambling here, but so my plan is to adapt a mostly carnivore diet, but a little bit of keto. So I like to call it ketovore. That's what I'm going to start with, is ketovore. It's not really an official thing, but there's a few people throwing that term around, and I like it. It's the one that sort of indicates to me as what I think my body will do well with. Back in 2020, when I was sick with mold poisoning, what basically kicked it all off was I ended up in the hospital with a gallbladder attack, and I think I got mold in the hospital. But aside from that, so since then I don't have a gallbladder. So, but even before that, I've had years of trouble with my gallbladder. I've had gallbladder attacks since, I would say, probably the first one was 14 years ago. And, so when I've tried keto in the past, I maybe didn't implement it right, or, I hadn't handled my gallbladder issues, so I had trouble with high fat. But now, since having the surgery, I don't have any trouble. I'm not a big proponent of surgery, but I didn't have a choice. It was ruptured when I got the surgery, so it was gone, basically. They just had to go in and clean it up. But as long as I take bile salts with meals, I generally have no issue. My digestion is much better. So anyone with gallbladder trouble, if you're, that's something you're wondering about, if you want to do keto or carnivore and you're worried about too much fat, if you supplement with bile salts, you'll probably be fine. Obviously, this is not medical advice, but just my experience. So that's my plan. And my biggest downfall is sweets. It's like a drug for me. I told my husband I'm like a crack addict. If it's in the house, I will get it. I will find it and I will eat it. So that's something I'm going to be talking to him about later, which is I need his agreement to not buy it. His discipline is much better than mine. So, he might buy it thinking it's for himself, but if I find it, it's fair game. And my daughter, who's 10, also has a sweet tooth. And obviously at her age, her body's much better able to handle it. But I also want to really start ingraining good health habits into her, right away. There's no reason to do it later, okay? Maybe she doesn't have weight issues right now. She's skinny. But there's no reason not to start good health habits young, so that she doesn't have to deal with this later like I am. So that's the plan. And I ordered a food and fitness tracker, which is supposed to be arriving later today. So that's going to be part of what I'm going to show as part of my accountability. man, like if you have to log what you're eating and if you then show that to other people, that's some serious discipline, or lack of discipline. But, that's hard. That's hard to do. So, I'm not ready to talk about what my weight is, but I will say that I need to lose more than 40 pounds. Maybe later, once I've actually had some success, I'll be willing to be more specific with that. I'm sure many of you understand that. So let's see, is there anything else that I wanted to cover in this first video? I might throw in some other things here and there. We'll see how it goes. But, mostly, it's going to be mostly around diet, some exercise. I don't feel that exercise is that important to losing weight. I think it's important for overall health and circulation and heart health and all that kind of stuff. And I've always gone to the gym off and on my whole life, but more off than on the last many years. I'm getting a new membership. My gym closed and I found a new gym that I like, so I'm going to be signing up there shortly, and that's going to be part of my new life, my new routine, because I feel good when I exercise. I feel more motivated, more energetic. I sleep better. I don't really have sleep troubles, but I would say that when I'm exercising, I sleep deeper, and that's important, I think, because ever since my daughter's been born, I haven't really gotten the best sleep. She's not a great sleeper herself, and if she wakes up, she comes and gets me, even still. I don't know. So when I am getting a good night's sleep, I want it to be a deep sleep. And when I'm exercising, I get that. So I think that covers it. So hopefully you want to follow along. Wish me luck, and I'll see you on the next one.